He is Bob Nightengale. How are you, Bob?
Doing great, Chris. I'm right back here at the same place.
Yo, you know what you are? You're back in Wrigley Field, Bob?
I am.
So how do you think I did that night, Bob?
I thought it was awesome. You should be back for Game 1 of the World Series.
Okay.
If other Cubs are bringing back.
Yeah, I did that well. So, Bob, what happened with Chris Sale in that clubhouse? Do we know specifically what happened, that the uniforms get hung, he sees it, he gets pissed, and he immediately takes a knife to it? Can you walk me through what happened, best you can tell?
Well, first of all, he had told the pitching coach, Don Cooper, and the Robin Ventura manager that, hey, I don't want to be wearing these things. They look hideous and they're uncomfortable. I'm not doing it. And he thought that was the end of it. And then he comes into the ballpark that day, and there's that jersey hanging in his locker. They went ballistic. I mean, little Edward Scissorhands, and not only tore his up, but cut everybody's up. Make sure nobody was wearing it. And so the White Sox are stunned. They sent him home, suspend him. Now he makes his return tomorrow. I think this was just overboiling of frustration. I mean, the White Sox should be a better team than this. Then it comes out a few days ago that they might start a fire sale and start dumping guys. And I think his thing is, you know what? I didn't come here to lose again. I don't want to be Felix Hernandez of Seattle, spending a great career but never making postseason.
How much of this started boiling with the Drake LaRoche, Adam LaRoche stuff that Sale was so outspoken about in spring training, Bob?
I think that that simmered down, and he speaks his mind, and he goes ballistic. I remember last year he tried to take on the entire Kansas City Royals team, trying to go into their clubhouse, and the security guy stopped him. So he's got a hot temper. I mean, he's the guy you want on the mound, but it's only if you're management, you don't want to make him mad. But I just think all this frustration was just he had enough.
And so what about the White Sox having enough of Sale with the ability to trade him coming up? I know they've won 4 in a row, and some of them rousing victories, 3 of them being walk-offs. Is it possible that they go ahead and sell Sale to the highest bidder here?
I think there's some teams we'll trade this guy, but you got to give us 4 or 5 of your top prospects. I think if they're going to trade Sale, they'll do it during the winter. Then you get everybody involved, the teams giving up major league players as well. I don't see him doing it now. And, told the White Sox is they depend on the fan base. They have to win to get fans. It's not like Wrigley Field. So if you give up now and dump Sale, then I think you're looking for some miserable years at the gate.
Bob Nightengale of USA Today joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. So one last thing on Sale here. For him to cut up his jersey and everyone else's, that's got to be, what, a 2-3 at the very most, or at least minute process. Did he have the clubhouse all to himself? Were there other White Sox in there with a second pair of scissors or a knife? How does he pull that off with nobody stopping him or running to get somebody to stop him?
Yeah, I think he just kind of stood there in fear and amusement, watching him slash every jersey in sight. Not everybody was in that clubhouse, but nobody got a knife in his hand. You don't want to stop him going now. So I think they just watched kind of an amusement, and everybody laughed except for management. And the joke now in the White Sox clubhouse is those throwback jerseys all cut up probably get you a lot more money at the gift shop being torn up than they would kept intact.
Yeah, I mean, if you slice them up into swatches and sell it for charity, these are all the jerseys that Sale sliced up. We can make a positive out of all of this, right?
Exactly.
I'm certain.
Yeah, they got to be worth more money.
But so there were teammates that were in there watching him do it, laughing and thinking this is a great. Because I would imagine that would be even crazier for Ventura to have to deal with in management to put this back together again.
Yeah, I mean, they do it for a big marketing thing, and I think the teammates were kind of just in amusement and some kind of in fear, like, oh my God, what's this guy doing? Huh. So nobody wants to stop in his way because who wants to be slashed themselves? And he was just like he became a raging lunatic there for a temporary insanity for a few minutes.
So who do you think is the big name that's going to get dealt between now and Monday or on Monday at the trade deadline, Bob?
don't see a huge one, Rich. I think the guys, Jay Bruce of Cincinnati and Jonathan Lucroy. I don't think Andrew Miller's going anywhere. I don't think Wade Davis is. And this isn't like the trade deadline of a year ago when you had David Price, Cole Hamels, and Johnny Cueto being moved. Nowadays you're talking about the best starter out there is Rich Hill, and that's how much of a drop-off it's been.
But what about the fact that the Nats have seen Papelbon go boom in 2 consecutive closing situations? You saw what the Cubs did to solidify that spot. Could the Rangers or maybe Indians, who lost, in a walk-off manner in recent days, even though they just won one in that regard, or the Nats go ahead and maybe overspend for Miller and knock Cashman over with an offer that he can't refuse?
It's possible. It is. And I think they're getting a little desperate now. I mean, you hit on the nail is that you don't want to go into the postseason when Jonathan Papelbon is your closer. And the guy they won with Chapman, I mean, Dusty Baker had Chapman in Cincinnati, and the assistant general manager Bob Miller had him. That was their target. Now they got to grab someone. And let's face it, everybody would rather have Miller than Chapman just because you get him for 2.5 years. So I think it's going to be very enticing for tempting for Cashman to trade Miller. It's just, they keep on winning here. Now it's a little tougher to dump Miller.
And you've got the Blue Jays acquiring Melvin Upton Jr. and not only that, but getting $17 million in cash from the Padres. What rock did the Padres kick over that they can fork over $17 million for a player to play somewhere else? Where did that happen, Bob?
They took on that contract anyway when they got Craig Kimbrell like a year ago. So I think just like, you know what, we're going to have to pay it anyway. So let's get some kind of prospect back in return. So that's all it was. That's you know what, we're not going to go anywhere for the next 3 years anyway. We don't need them playing for us. Let's get something returned.
Wow. And is Aaron Sanchez going to be on some sort of innings count or some sort of, Matt Harvey dilemma this year with the Blue Jays playing as well as they are?
They shouldn't. And people could talk about Strasburg, and the bottom line is every veteran of that team is still upset with what happened. If Strasburg was allowed to keep pitching, they might have won the World Series that year. They were that good. And when you cut down the guy's workload and say he can't start, and just dampens the whole clubhouse, it's like, God, are we really worrying about winning here or not? So that's why I liked what the Cubs do with Chapman. And they were going to be in the postseason no matter what. But they said, hey, we'll trade away a bunch of our prospects. We want to go for this thing. Because who knows how many opportunities you get. And the Blue Jays definitely have an opportunity right now.
Yeah, they do. Thanks for the call, Bob. Appreciate it. We'll chat again soon.
Okay, Rich. Take care.
You bet. That's Bob Nightengale of USA Today joining us.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.